Hello and welcome. I'm Jackie from Bliss, and today we are going to do a yoga sequence focusing on the throat chakra or Vishuddha. So let's get started. I invite you to find a comfortable seated position on your mat. Close the eyes. Take a moment to turn inward. Notice how you're feeling. Notice if any parts of your body are tight or need extra love today. Now let's turn our focus to our throat chakra. It's located in this hollow area at the base of the throat where it meets the collarbone. And the color for our throat chakra is blue. It is responsible for you finding your authentic voice and speaking your truth. Alright, if you'd like to set an intention or an affirmation for today, please do this at this time. A great one for the throat chakra is, I speak my truth. Got your affirmation? Alright, repeat it to yourself 3 times. If your eyes are closed, I invite you to open them back up. We're going to move into a pranayama or breathing exercise, right? Today's focus is the throat chakra, so all our breath goes past it on the way in and past it on the way out. So today we are going to work on Ujjayi breathing. It's a pretty simple one. So inhale through the nose normally, and then on the exhale, you're going to slightly constrict the back of your throat. You'll hear this slight kind of noise. Some people say it sounds like an ocean or a breeze. So let's try about 10 more rounds of Ujjayi breathing. Keep going, you're doing great. If you're doing it, you'll hear it in your head. Maybe people very close to you will hear it. It's not a loud sound. All right, let's do one more round. Now I invite you to continue Ujjayi breathing if you'd like, or go back to your normal breathing pattern. Ujjayi breathing is great because we can use it throughout a yoga practice. It can help us pace things as we're flowing in and out of moves. From here, let's take our right ear down to our right shoulder. Feel free to rest a hand on top or walk fingertips away on the other side. Take whatever you need to get the amount of stretch your neck is looking for today. Release any modifications and roll your chin down to your chest. Letting the back of the neck be long. From here, let's roll our left ear over to the left shoulder. Maybe rest a hand on top, maybe walk the fingertips away. All right, let's release. Bring our head back up to neutral. Today we're going to do circles. Option to just roll from side to side across the front, or do full neck circles if that feels good for your neck. Okay, so let's circle. Feel free to pause anywhere that you feel tightness and see if you can get it to release a little. Finish up the circle that you're on, and let's reverse. Finish up. Let's bring our head back to a neutral position. From here, let's reach the arms out in front, interlace the fingers. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, let's bend to the right. Inhale back through center. Exhale, take it to the left. Keep moving and flowing with your own breath. Three more rounds. Finish up the round that you're on. Let's come back out through center. Release the arms. Let's place our hands on our knees, and we're going to go into some seated circles. So we're going to inhale as we sweep around the front. Exhale as we round our spine and go across the back. Sweep front, scoop back. Keep moving with your own breath. Finish up the one you're on, and let's reverse. Finish this one up. Come to rest in a seated position. Let's head onto our backs. We're going to roll down, knees bent, feet flat on the floor, arms at your sides, palms facing down. We're going to go into some flowing bridges. Let's inhale, lift the pelvis, roll up the spine. Exhale, reverse it. Keep moving and flowing with your own breath. One more. And roll it down. All right, from here, let's take our arms out to the sides, either straight out or cactus, depending on your room and preference. Inhale where you're at. Exhale, drop the knees to the right. Inhale back through center. Exhale, take them to the left. Continue moving and flowing with your own breath. One more round. Let's come back to center. Hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little back massage, a nice hug. From here, let's make our way onto hands and knees or all fours. So you can either roll to one side and press up or rock forward and back. All right, let's get set up for cat-cow. So let's get the shoulders right above the wrists, hips above the knees, fingers spread wide. Inhale, chest and gaze come forward, belly drops, tailbone lifts. Exhale, press into the mat, really arch the spine and look towards your belly button. Keep moving and flowing with your own breath. We'll do about 8 to 10. Finish up the one you're on. Let's press back to child's pose. Do some wrist circles to relieve any tension there. All right, we're going to go into a flow from here that includes tabletop and down dog. So let's inhale up onto all fours, tuck the toes, press back, exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, drop the knees, untuck the toes, exhale, press back, child's pose. All right, keep moving and flowing with your own breath. Remember, we're still warming up, so bent knees in down dog is recommended. Next time you find yourself in downward facing dog, let's pause there, explore our dog, maybe pedal out the feet. From your downward facing dog, let's step or hop up to the top of the mat. Slowly rise on up. We're going to start doing a tiny back bend. So let's bring our hands to our sacrum, either fists or palms, fingers facing down. Stand nice and tall. We're going to arch back, and today we're going to tilt our head back as well. Make sure you are engaging muscles and not just letting your neck flop back. Let's take 3 breaths here. All right, let's bring our chin to chest, then come back up to standing upright. Normal posture, release the arms. Let's check in with our mountain pose, shall we? Let's rock the weight forward and back. Make sure our weight is evenly distributed between the ball of our foot and our heels. Knees are unlocked, pelvis is level, tall through the spine. Let's open up across the front of the chest, palms forward. We'll take 3 breaths here. All right, from here, we are going to step our right foot back into a short warrior 1. So we're going to step the right foot back, rotate the foot out at about a 45-degree angle, and we're going to straighten the front knee. We're going to do a bound pyramid. So Bringing the arms behind the back, we can either do reverse prayer arms or hold on to opposite elbows. Do whichever works best for you. All right, so from here, we've got our arms set, both legs straight. Let's fold over that front leg. Think long spine while you're here. Let's engage the core, come back up to standing, release the arms. We're going to rotate the back foot so the toes face forward, bend the front knee. So we want to come into a high lunge. So you may need to step that back foot back a little bit to find your comfortable lunge. So here we are, pelvis forward. We're going to inhale the arms up and take the gaze up as well to add a little back bend to our high lunge. All right, let's bring the head back to neutral. We're going to release the arms all the way down to the floor. We're going to step it back to plank. From here, let's drop our right knee and kick our right foot toward the right edge of the mat. I'm going to bring my right hand in line with that right knee. My left foot is going to ground to the outside edge of my left foot. And I'm going to reach, really reach towards the top of the mat, keeping my chest open to the long edge of the mat for our side plank variation. See if you can add your Ujjayi breathing in here. All right, from here, let's engage the core, rise up, bring our arms out in a T. Our left leg is going to rotate so the knee is pointing toward the ceiling. And today, we're going to point our toes toward the floor for a variation on gate pose. So left arm is going to drape down in front of the leg. Right arm is going to reach overhead towards the left side of the mat. Big stretch along the right side of the body here. Let's tip back up through center. We're going to go all the way over. Right hand back to the mat, left hand back to the mat. Rotate the right toes so they're behind you, behind your knee again. Extend back into plank. Press back, downward facing dog. All right, from here, let's step or hop back to the top of our mat. Rise up slowly again. And we'll do that whole sequence on the other side. So let's step our left foot back, 45-degree angle, short warrior one, straighten that front leg, reverse prayer hands, or grab the opposite elbows, nice and tall. Let's fold forward. Think long spine here. Bring our torso back up, release the arms. Let's go into our high lunge stance so that back foot needs to rotate and maybe step a little further back. So we're on the ball of the back foot. Front knee is deep bend, knee over ankle, tracking towards those toes. Hips are level, right? They like to jump forward here. So inhale the arms up, gaze comes up with them, adding a slight back bend. Remember, you can always step your feet wider if you need more stability in this pose. All right, let's bring our gaze back forward. Release the hands down to the mat. Take the right foot back, plank pose. Let's drop our left knee to the mat this time. Kick it out toward the left. Bring our left hand in line with that knee. Shoulder right above the wrist. Right foot plants all the way to the outside edge. Right arm reaches towards the top of the mat. Big stretch along the right side of the body. From our side plank variation, let's bring our torso upright. We're going to rotate our right knee toward the ceiling, right toes towards the floor. Reach that left arm up overhead and to the right for our variation on gate pose today. All right, let's rise back up with our torso and then all the way up and over. Okay. Rotate that left leg so the toes are facing the back of the mat again. Let's extend out to plank pose. This time, let's hold it for 3 breaths. You got this. And press it back to downward facing dog. Let's step or hop up to the top of our mat. We will very slowly rise back up. And now we're going to go into Lord Shiva Cycle of Life dance pose. So let's start out by finding our mountain pose again, right? Weight evenly distributed between the front and back of foot. Evenly distributed from the inside and outside. Knees unlocked, pelvis level, tall through the spine. Tuck the chin slightly. Bring the palms forward. Open across those shoulders. Open up across the collarbones. From here, let's shift all of our weight into our right leg. Take our left leg, we're going to cross it behind our right leg and plant it on the floor. Adjust anything you need to adjust there. Let's interlace the fingers. We're going to lift up slightly to the right. Gaze comes up to look at our hands. Do you feel like a beautiful, graceful dancer now? All right, let's release the gaze, release the arms, step back across to our mountain pose. Notice how your body is feeling after doing that on one side. And let's take it to the other side. Shift all the weight over to the left. Right leg crosses behind, plants on the floor. Hands come to the front. Let's interlace the fingers and let's shift it. Right? There's always one way you like to do it. Shift it. All right, so let's inhale the arms up slightly to the left as we gaze up at them. Let's release the gaze, release the arms, uncross the legs. Notice how you feel. And if you're not already, let's take it up to the top of our mat. So inhale our arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's hang out in our forward fold for just a bit. Maybe your hands reach the floor. Maybe they're holding on to your shins. Maybe you like to grab opposite elbows, either in front of or behind your legs. Whatever you found, let's hold it for 3 more breaths. All right, let's all bend our knees, release our hands down to the floor. Let's step back to downward facing dog. See how much ease you have in this dog compared to others we've done today. Really try to be a long line all the way through the spine, crown of the head all the way through the tip of the tailbone. From downward facing dog, let's drop our knees to the mat, untuck the toes, slide the hands forward for puppy pose. Keep the hips over the knees. Try to bring the chest down to the floor. Let's interlace our fingers and we're going to try a revolved puppy pose. So we're going to interlace fingers, twist, look under the left armpit. So we're rolling onto the right arm. One more breath here. Let's come back, facing down towards the floor, and then twist the other side. So looking under that right armpit. One more breath. So unwind, unclasp the hands, planting the palms on the floor. Shift our weight forward till our shoulders are over our elbows, then slide our hips back to come into Sphinx pose. Chest is forward, gaze is forward, shoulders are down, so we're pressing into the mat. If this is too much on your low back, you can slide your arms forward to lessen that curve. And let's release down to the mat. Maybe wiggle out those hips. All right, let's press up one more time. Shoulders above elbows, gaze is forward. All right, let's release it down on the mat. Wiggle it out. Let's bring our hands next to our rib cage, press up and back for a brief break in child's pose. From here, let's rise up into a kneeling position. We're going to work on camel. This time, We are also going to look up, so we open up the front of the neck. So let's bring our hands to our low back. Nice and tall, hips over the knees. And we're going to think long through the spine and arch back, gazing up at the ceiling. Remember to really extend through the spine. Don't just let your neck drop back. Let's take 3 more breaths. Bring the chin to the chest. Straighten out the torso. Sit back on your heels for thunderbolt pose. And we're going to do a little thunderbolt variation where we're going to look up at the sky, right? Throat chakra, stretching the front of the neck. So again, think tall through the spine and arch it back. Keep the shoulders down, don't squish up. On your next exhale, let's bring the chin back to a neutral position. We're going to fold forward over our legs. We're going to reach back towards our ankles. We're going to try rabbit pose today. So from here, with our forehead on the ground, we're going to lift the hips and roll onto the crown of the head, holding on to the ankles. If you can reach the ankles, it's okay if your hands slide up a little. One more breath here. And let's roll back. Notice any sensations that arise in your head and your neck area from the rabbit pose. It's a way to get a little inversion and a little pressure on the top of the head without kind of the dangers that could be involved in doing a headstand. So let's try it one more time. Lift the hips, roll onto the top of the head. All right, let's send our hips back toward our heels. We're going to release our arms. We're going to go into child's pose, and we're going to hold this one for about 8 breaths. So take the child's pose that your body's calling for, whether you want knees together to help support the low back, knees apart to come through further, arms extended, or arms tucked behind. All right, let's bring our torsos upright. If your knees are apart, let's bring them together. Everybody shift to one side. Swing those legs around into the front. Let's check out Dandasana. Legs are active, pressing into the floor. Feet are flexed. Let's bring our hands onto our mat near our bum. Lifting through the spine. Small stretch on the inside of the wrist. All right, let's release those hands. We're going to go into a half lotus forward fold situation. So let's bring our left foot into our right hip crease. If this is uncomfortable for any reason, feel free to bring this down here and bring your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. All right, so otherwise, left foot into that right hip crease. Right leg is still active, foot flexed. Let's inhale nice and tall. Exhale, fold over that front leg. Notice any sensations that arise from this variation. Two more breaths. All right, let's rise back up. Extend both legs long. Let's point and flex the ankles a couple of times. All right, and take it to the other side. So we'll bring our right foot into the left hip crease. And again, this is not working for your knee over here. We can always bring our right foot down inside the left leg. Keep this left leg active, foot flexed, toes pointing toward the ceiling. Inhale tall, exhale fold, reaching towards those left toes. Maybe holding onto the left shin, left ankle, wherever you're at is a great place to be today. See if you can sink a little deeper in your next exhale. One more breath here. And let's walk our hands back up our leg. Extend both legs long. Let's shake them out a little. Now we're going to turn to face the long side of our mat. Spreading the legs wide. Feet flexed for a seated straddle. We're going to start with a variation. We're going to press our hands into the floor behind us. Pressing down, feet flexed. We're going to gaze up at the ceiling. All right, let's bring our gaze back to neutral. Release the hands from behind our back, and let's walk them out in front of us as we fold right up the middle. And see if on your exhales you can maybe sink a little deeper. Let's hold this for 4 more breaths. All right, let's walk the hands back in. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together for a butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together. Let's bring them in. Sitting up nice and tall, knees opening toward the floor. And then let's all fold forward over our feet to the extent that is comfortable for us. Let's extend the arms, and we're going to walk them over to the right side. So we're adding a stretch along the left side of the body to our butterfly pose here. And let's walk our hands over to the left. Getting a stretch along the right side of our body now. Notice the sensations that arise for you. One more breath here. Let's walk back to center. Take a second here to reset. Let's walk our hands back in, bringing our hands under our knees. Let's close our knees. We're going to turn, face the short edge of the mat, and go into boat pose. So sitting tall, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Let's all hold on behind our thighs as we tip back. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you take your boat to this destination. Perhaps you let go. And maybe you make it to the destination where your legs are extended. Make sure whatever destination you choose, we're keeping the spine long. And it's okay to island hop between those destinations on your boat. Two more breaths here. All right, let's tip forward, dock our boats. We're gonna head onto our backs now. Let's tuck the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little back massage. Maybe just rocking side to side. Maybe circling the knees. If you're circling, let's reverse it. And settle in. All right, let's bring our hands down to the floor. We'll release our feet down to the floor right now as well. We are going to give you a couple options here. The first option is to go into a legs up the wall without the wall, otherwise known as a half plow. So line on your back, just straighten the legs, flex the feet, or let them point, your choice. We won't be picky today. So there's one option. The second option is to go into a half shoulder stand. To do this, I'm going to release my feet back to the ground. If you're choosing this option, make sure you keep staring straight up at the ceiling. Going to inhale, lift my hips as high as I can into a great big bridge. And I'm going to bring the heel of my hand under my hips, extend one leg up, and then the second leg straight up. To come out, I just tuck and roll down. So choose whichever of those you would like, whether you're doing the half plow or the half shoulder stand option today. Two more breaths. Keep the neck long. And wherever you're at, let's release back down so we are long on our mat. From here, we're going to head into fish pose. So to come into fish pose from here, we're going to come up onto our elbows, shoulders over elbows to start. Maybe you leave your hands here, maybe you walk them under your bum. Up to you, either way is fine. From here, we're going to shift the weight back, tilt the head back. Maybe you make it all the way so your head is resting on the floor. Maybe not. Tilt back as far as is comfortable and feasible for you today. Let's hold it for 3 breaths. To come out, let's bring our chin to the chest. Slide the hands out. Lower down onto the floor. Let's take our arms up overhead. We're going to extend as long as we can. Big full body stretch here. And then we'll settle into Shavasana. So let's bring our legs slightly apart. Let them fall whichever way they'd like, in or out. Arms on the floor, slightly away from the body, palms up. Make any adjustments you need to be more comfortable, maybe walking the shoulder blades down the spine. And we'll start by focusing again on our throat chakra. Imagine your throat chakra as a glowing blue ball of energy. How does it look and feel compared to the beginning of class? What shade of blue is it? Is it pulsing? Is it steady? How bright is it? Just notice and observe. Envision your breath passing in through the throat chakra, and then out past the throat chakra, allowing you to speak your truth. If you said an affirmation, repeat it to yourself a couple of times. And then we'll settle in for a few minutes of silent Shavasana. I invite you to make your next breath a little deeper and let it out with a big sigh. Start to bring some movement back to the body. Maybe wiggle the fingers and toes. Extend that movement. Take any movements your body is calling for. Maybe stretching long or wiggling the legs in and out. And then when you're ready, let's bend the knees and place the feet flat on the floor. Let's roll to one side. And press into the mat to slowly come back up to a seated position. From here, let's extend our arms out, palms up to scoop up all of the truth and positivity we generated with today's class. Bring it up. Exhale, bring it into the throat chakra. Let's do it one more time. Thank you so much for joining me today for this throat chakra themed session. Go out into the world and speak your truth. Be well.